Today, we're going to decode the mental habits that separate the really clear, decisive thinkers from everyone else. And here's the secret. It's not about having a higher IQ. It's all about having a better system.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a question. Do you ever feel just paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake? You know, that feeling of being stuck in a loop, just overthinking everything? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today.
And this, right here, really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you've got most people who get paralyzed by fear and are always looking for that next hit of fake motivation. But then you've got high-level thinkers. They're guided by a system that lets them move with certainty and cut right through all the noise.
So this is our first big idea. We've got to move beyond that temporary fake motivation and start building a real, solid system for ourselves. A system that actually removes the noise from our thinking. So, how do we actually build this system? Well, we're going to decode 5 specific habits that make up its core. These are the actual, daily mental behaviors of some of the world's most effective minds.
All right, first up, habit number 1. It's a simple idea, but wow, it's an incredibly profound practice of looking inward. It's called metacognition. And all it really means is you stop just having thoughts and you start reflecting on how you're having them. So, for example, instead of just feeling angry after a conversation, you ask yourself, wait, why did that specific comment trigger me? You're basically putting your own thought process under a microscope.
And you know what? The science on this is crystal clear. Studies show that people who simply question how they reached a conclusion perform way better on reasoning tasks. And the application here is huge. This one habit fights off confirmation bias and overconfidence, which are like the 2 biggest thinking errors we all make.
So just picture this. You're about to make a big decision at work. But before you do, you run this little mental checklist. By constantly asking yourself these simple questions, you create this incredible inside-out check on your own thinking. You become your own quality control.
Okay, on to habit number 2. Now, this one's going to feel a little counterintuitive. It's about intentionally making things harder for yourself.
There's this amazing concept from learning science called desirable difficulty. And the core idea is that the struggle, that's what actually makes you stronger. It's like choosing to learn a new, complex piece of software at work instead of sticking with the easy one you already know. That initial frustration, it's literally building new pathways in your brain. It's a workout for your mind.
And this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. Most of us, we instinctively hang out in the comfort zone. You know, low effort, but also pretty low growth. But high-level thinkers, they know that the real, lasting growth only happens when you push yourself right into that zone of desirable difficulty.
Look, these folks aren't just scrolling through easy-to-digest stuff. Nope, they actively choose to read complex material. They choose to sit with confusion and wrestle with tough ideas because they get it. They understand that this mental discomfort is the very thing that's training their brain to be stronger.
All right, habit number 3. This one is all about being able to adapt your thinking on the fly.
And the term for this is cognitive flexibility. Think about a scientist whose big experiment totally disproves their favorite theory. The inflexible mind tries to find fault with the data, right? But the flexible mind just goes, interesting. The data is what it is. My theory was wrong. What's next? It is a key sign of a truly intelligent mind.
What this really boils down to is a huge mental shift. Most people tie their opinions to their ego, to their identity. But high-level thinkers, they don't do that. When new data proves them wrong, it's not some personal failure. Nope, it's just a great opportunity to update their mental software.
So just remember this, being willing to be wrong when you see new facts isn't weakness. It's a straight-up superpower. It's the mark of a strong, secure, and truly independent mind.
Okay, habit number 4. This could fundamentally change how you talk and even think about the entire world.
This is probabilistic thinking. And really, it's just about ditching words like always and never, and instead asking how likely. So instead of saying, this marketing campaign will never work, you ask, what are the odds of success if we bump the ad budget by 20%? You're trading the illusion of certainty for the reality of odds.
And just look at the difference this makes. Absolute black and white thinking, it forces you into these extremes. But probabilistic thinking, it brings in nuance, it improves your judgment, and it keeps you calm because you're no longer chasing some impossible 100% certainty.
By just asking yourself these 2 questions, you start to navigate reality as it actually is, a world of grays, not black and white.
It's simply the language of better decision-making.
And that brings us to our final habit, number 5. This is where all that clear thinking gets turned into real, decisive, consistent action.
The principle is called automaticity. And instead of just kind of hoping you'll do something, you create a super specific rule for yourself. So instead of, I should probably meditate more, you create an implementation intention. When I finish my morning coffee, I will immediately sit down and meditate for 10 minutes. See, the decision is already made.
And you can see how the whole mental process just flips. You go from that exhausting internal debate, that should I, to a simple, pre-decided trigger. It's time. And that leads directly to automatic action. The debate is over before it even starts.
And this is the end result. No argument, no delay, and no excuses. This is how you transform a tough decision into a discipline, and how that discipline eventually just becomes part of who you are.
Okay, so let's tie all of this together now and really look at what this entire system represents. Because once you really get a handle on these 5 habits, you realize it's not just about managing your time anymore. It's much, much deeper than that.
It's about controlling your mind. Seriously, it's about reaching a level of mental clarity, objectivity, and control that, frankly, most people will just never experience. You stop reacting to the world and you start thinking through it.
So here's the final takeaway. Think of these habits as your toolkit. They're the system that lets you stop being a subject of your own knee-jerk thoughts and start being the master of your own mind. So the real question is, which one are you going to be?